Hello everyone, MarcusWolfe here, welcoming you all back to another episode of Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney, Trials and Tribulations. Quick disclaimer, do not mind if you hear me munching every now and again. I have some wonderful honey milk boba tea. I'm a sucker for honey, so that's like my go-to whenever it's boba. It's like honey milk tea. There has to be honey in there. But anyway, last we left off, boba aside, we finally figured out where Maya was. She's been with us this entire time. We've exorcised Dahlia Hawthorne from her body. And now it's time to hear what she witnessed that night when her mother, Misty Fey, was killed. Something tells me this is going to be very interesting. Now then, before we proceed any further, I'm going to announce the results of the test we had performed earlier, as well as put in a quick disclaimer that I did not understand why I stuttered so horribly. I do hope it doesn't happen again, but if it does, I apologize. Oh, there it goes again. Oh dear. We might be in for some trouble here. Okay, Your Honor. Aside from that rambling, what tests? Yes, well, the one on the bloody dagger that was found stuck in the pine tree. Oh, yeah, that. Ooh, I totally forgot about it. That's the weapon Maya Fey used when she fought the victim. So, what are the results? Was it the victim's blood, or... Due to time constraints, I'm afraid a full test was impossible. However, there is one thing we can say with certainty. The blood on this dagger was not the victim's. That is all. Now then, let us restart this trial. So it wasn't Misty's blood? Then who is it? Interesting. Well, they did say due to time constraints, so... The only other person then would be Maya. Was she injured? To which then I'm pretty sure she would testify immediately right now, so... Now, I'm sure both the defense and prosecution already know this. However, I must remind you both that this trial is rapidly coming to a close. Both sides will need to show some firm evidence with their claims. I understand, Your Honor. From what I've heard, the witness is dangerously weak, physically speaking. So let us finish this quickly. Agreed, Mr. Godot. Very well. Then please bring in the last witness. Oh, this poor girl. Witness. Please tell us your name and occupation. Maya Fey. My profession is... I'm the assistant manager at Wright & Co. Law Offices. Maya... Oh, really? Well, according to this magazine here, you're a spirit medium at the Korean channeling technique. I'm frightened. The Fey clan. I don't want any more to do with it. The pain the Fey bloodline causes must be unbearable. Oh, very well. Now then, Miss Fey. When the event occurred, you were in the garden of the inner temple. And you witnessed the moment of Miss Elise Donham's murder. Is this correct? I didn't... Straighten up this instant, young lady. Huh? Pick your head up and speak clearly. There's always time for crying later. But I... Your mother was killed right in front of your eyes. There's nothing you can do to change that fact. But there is something you can do. You can finish this. You've been watching the whole thing, right? You've seen the witnesses come out and you've seen us squeeze the truth from them. Now it's your turn. Let us hear your testimony. On the night of the crime, what exactly did you see happen? Witness, if you please. Yes, Your Honor. Oh, this is gonna be the hardest thing for her. And I'm sure for us too. Oh, boy. It's time to put a pin on this, one way or the other. I was passing through the garden on the way to a spare prep room when it happened. Suddenly, someone struck me over the head. I stumbled and ended up against a stone lantern. I think I screamed, "Help me!" And then, something warm splashed over me. That's when I lost consciousness. So you were struck on the head? I suppose it must have been the staff. Maya, the person who hit you, it was Dahlia Hawthorne, wasn't it? I'm sorry, Nick. I just couldn't see. I don't know who it was. Maya, please, think hard. I'm sorry, Nick, but I really couldn't. Can't say it wasn't an especially good night for young ladies to be walking around alone. Well, it seems that it'll be hard to determine a criminal through testimony alone. Very well, Mr. Wright. Please, begin your cross-examination, and do be mindful of when you drink that boba tea at your desk. Maya, hang in there. She doesn't look well at all. Yep, doing this with boba tea is the worst idea ever, because I had to chew these things. I guarantee you I'm doing it in the quiet points, and it'll be skipped, because it's going to be forever. I was passing through the garden on the way to a spare prep room when it happened. And who else was on the inner temple side that night? Well, Sister Bikini, of course. But I remember her saying that Iris would be coming later. The day after the incident, Edgeworth met Bikini at Hazakota Temple. That means she couldn't be the criminal. So, did Iris actually come later, like she said? Well, let me think. She seems confused. I mean, it's not surprising. I guess it's because she's tired. No. No, I'm sure I didn't see her. She must have came while I was prepping for training. Suddenly, someone struck me over the head. And who did it, Maya? Who hit you? Well, I didn't really see who it was, Nick. I was hit from behind. You didn't see the person. But after that, your attacker was in front of you. How could you not see who it was? Oh, let me think for a sec. I'm sorry, I just can't remember. Maya is really having a hard time. What should I do? No, I believe her. I believe that she doesn't remember. I believe it. I mean, it's been 2 days, and she's tired right now. But, essentially speaking, from the night of the crime until this moment, her memory has stopped. So, for her, it's like it happened yesterday. But she's tired. I believe her when she says she doesn't remember. Considering the conditions at the crime scene, it's not surprising she didn't see her attacker. So it looks like even you've got some compassion. Judging by the testimony thus far, the identity of the attacker was most likely the spirit that was channeled by Miss Elise Donham, Dahlia Hawthorne. Oh. Very well. Please, continue with your testimony. What happened after you were struck on the head? I stumbled, and I ended up against the stone lantern. And what happened afterwards? Well, my attacker was in front of me, blocking off my escape. I think. You think? After getting hit like that, I was panicked. There were only two things rolling around in my mind at the time. Well now, this is beginning to get a bit interesting. So what two things rolled around in your mind? My name is Maya Fey. 1 + 1 = 2. You see, for some crazy reason, I was afraid I was going to lose my memory. I know it's odd considering my life was in danger, but that's how it was. Well, that's not odd at all. Your actions are understandable given the circumstances. So what did you do then? I mean, panicked people do weird things. They really do. For Maya, it was saying, my name is Maya Fey, 1 + 1 = 2. She was panicked. I cannot, as funny as it is to hear it, I cannot blame her for doing that. I think I screamed, "Help me!" You think you screamed? You're not sure? Listen, I was a complete wreck then, Nick. It was dark and I couldn't see my attacker. Was it a man, a woman, an adult child? Well, I didn't know. I was just scared out of my wits. Oh, believe me, my dear, I'm certain I would have soiled my robes. I thought this person might attack me, so well, I'm pretty sure I screamed. I thought that was my last hope. Ow. Sounds like poor Maya really was out of her mind. But I wonder what she meant by last hope. What do I do? Should I press her? I mean, why would you think it was your last hope? I mean, maybe it's just a quick reaction. It's like, maybe by some miracle someone is out there. Help me, you know? I mean, maybe? I need to ask about what was going on in her mind at that time. Wait a minute, Maya. What's this my last hope stuff? What? What do you mean by your last hope? No, Maya. That's what you just said. You said my last hope. What? I said what? Look, you were facing an attacker that you couldn't see and you screamed, right? You screamed, "Help me." Yeah. But you just testified you screamed because you thought it was your last hope. Oh, well, you know, that's like, well, what do you call it when that happens? Maya's really not doing so well up there. Oh yeah, oh, that's right. I remember now. I was facing my attacker, but that's not who I was screaming at. What? Yeah, that's right. It was the person behind my attacker I was yelling at. That's who I was screaming to for help. Oh! What is it now, Maya? I messed up. I didn't mean to let that slip out. Please. What? Witness, are you absolutely sure of what you're saying? Maya? What are you hiding? Why did you not mean to say that? Behind the attacker, there was another person. I meant to keep that part a secret. What have I done? It takes a ton of pressure to make a diamond. That's what I always say. A ton of pressure? You're in a court of law here, miss. You can't make things up, or try to hide things in this chamber. Witness, the information you just presented is vital to this case. I want you to add it to your testimony. I could see a man behind my attacker by the stone lantern. A man? And who was this man? Well, you see, I couldn't see. You couldn't see? She's already used this excuse twice now. Well, you know, lantern light isn't really all that bright. Lantern light? Well, there's a great big stone lantern in the garden. They always light it when an acolyte is there for training. Hey, you know what they say, under the lantern darkness reigns. So I couldn't see the person that was further So I could see the person that was further away, but not my attacker who was closer. Plus, there weren't any other light sources in the garden at the time. Then something warm splashed over me. You don't mean... was it? I didn't know it at the time, but... I think it was blood. She's saying that's when Miss Donum, who was channeling Dahlia, was stabbed in the back by the killer. At that moment, I was paralyzed with fear. I was just sitting there in the snow. I'm sure blood got on everything around me. That's when I lost consciousness. So what happened next? I don't remember. How were you saved? You don't even remember that? No. I haven't got any idea. I really don't know what happened at all. That's too bad. I've worked side by side with Maya for 2 years now. I can tell when she's trying to hide something by how she acts. And right now, I'm absolutely certain she's hiding something. I already know the problem. You couldn't see by the light of the stone lantern. You did not know it. But it's broken. Maya, the lantern's broken. See? Not lit on the night of the crime. Maya, so you're saying that there was a man standing behind your attacker, right? Yeah. That man. He's the killer. He stabbed Miss Elise Donum from behind. He's the one who killed her. Otherwise known as Misty Fey, your mother. The killer... Maya, you know who killed your mother, don't you? What is the meaning of this, Mr. Wright? To be frank, Your Honor, I think she's in shock and very confused. That's why she hasn't noticed a huge problem in her testimony. Huh? What do you mean, Nick? What problem? Maya, on the night of the crime, that stone lantern was out of commission. Huh? What? It's true. There was no light anywhere in the garden that night. No! Order! Order in this court! Mr. Godot, please explain this. Add the pureness of milk to the perfect clear darkness of coffee. Stir. That is the state of the witness's mind right now. A cup of cafe au lait. Cafe au lait? Is that even legal? Mr. Trite's words are the milk, and you are the spoon, Your Honor. I'm a spoon? I'm no spoony bard, I'll have you know. Wow! Final Fantasy IV reference, wow! The script writers and the translators really had a field day when they wrote this, I'm sure. I'm no spoony bard. Remember, this game came out on the GBA in what, 2002, 3, 4? So it's a few years after Final Fantasy IV, but still close enough that this reference would still make sense. Now, unless you're as old as me, it's like, spoony bard, what the heck do you mean? Final Fantasy IV. You must have noticed it too, Trite. This witness's mental state is highly unstable currently. It's not hard to understand why she would make a little mistake such as that. I'm sorry, Mr. Godot, but that's not gonna cut it this time. What? If there truly was no light in the garden, then there's a fatal contradiction in the witness's last bit of testimony. Nick... May I? Recall the witness's statement about her attacker. She said she didn't know if it was a man, a woman, adult, or child. And yet, despite that, she clearly described a person that was behind her attacker. And she quite clearly described him as a man. In other words, that would have to mean that Maya actually saw our mystery person, despite it being so dark that she couldn't see the face of her own attacker. No!
Order! 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 What in the world does this all mean, Mr. Wright? Are you saying Miss Fey saw the real killer under pitch-black conditions?
Objection!
Right. Do you any idea what you're proposing? How could she have seen in the dark? There was no other light source at the scene. There are some things that you can only see in the dark, Mr. Godot. Maya, you did see who Maya, you did see who the killer was in the dark. And now, you're trying to cover for him.
Cover? For the man that killed her mother?
There's only one conclusion I can draw from this. You know who this man is. Please, Nick. I don't know anything. Please, I'm begging you.
You talk a good game, Wright. But let's see if you can walk the walk. It was pitch black. What could the witness have seen? I'm calling your bluff.
No, Nick, don't! Please, just stop! Maya is dead set on protecting this guy. The man who murdered her long-lost mother. But I can't let him get away with it. I'm a lawyer, an officer of the court. I'm here to find the truth.
Alright, Mr. Wright. It's time to show us what you've got. Who was this person that you say Miss Fey saw in the cover of darkness?
Oh! I just realized. Pitch black conditions, and yet you could still see very clearly who it was. No other light source available. A light source that you would not know existed unless it was pitch black. Remember in the third case when there was the power outage? Maya? Did you see Godot? Because his headset glows in the dark. And it's very distinctive. You would know it was him at a moment's glance. But then why was Godot there? Why was he even there to begin with? Because it was pitch black, Miss Fey was able to recognize the killer easily. I'm sure the court would like to see for itself how this is possible, right?
What? But how do you propose to show us something like that?
It's easy. We just need to recreate the conditions of that night.
Conditions?
Your Honor, the defense officially requests that all the lights in this courtroom be turned off. Wow, they did it without question. I'm surprised.
But this can't be!
Huh. Exactly. That's why Maya is able to see him. That was a nice bit of deduction. Right. That's why Maya recognized him as a man. Well, everyone, this is the man that Maya saw on the night of the murder.
Order! 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 Prosecutor Godot, just what is the meaning of this? Surely you must be shocked to hear yourself accused of a thing such as murder. Why aren't you denying it? Your Honor, you're asking the wrong person. What do you mean by that? If you got a question, ask the witness. That's one of my rules. Well, Maya, how about it? What you saw that night? Was it 3 glowing red lights? Well, witness, please answer this question.
You're wrong. I never saw that.
Maya!
I thought the person that stabbed my mother was a man. For a totally different reason.
What? Witness! Mr. Stop your chattering, Your Honor. Chattering? If it's worth asking, ask the witness. It's one of my rules. All right. Well then, let us continue with this testimony. Please, witness, tell us how you knew the killer was a man.
Yes, Your Honor. I didn't realize it until after I woke up, but...
But what? My bad. I clicked while I was chewing. This is bad. Oops.
When I came to, I was just lying there on the training hall floor. By the time I got back to the garden, the place had totally changed. The torches were lit, and the body was gone. And all the snow around the lantern had been carefully cleaned up, too. Since the person did all that work alone, I just assumed it was a man.
Because they were a tidy neat freak? So it was after the crime took place that the witness came to think the killer was a man.
Yes, that's right. I'm sorry, Your Honor,
Oh, no need to apologize. It's as Mr. Godot said. You're very exhausted. It's only natural that you would be a little confused. Also, if you consider the situation you described, it doesn't seem too much of a stretch to assume the culprit was a man. Mr. Wright, please proceed with your cross-examination.
Maya, if it is Godot, I understand why you're trying to cover for him. But why? This is the man that killed your mother. I would assume that you would want the murderer to be exposed. What is she hiding? That's my question. When I came to, I was just lying there on the training hall floor. So you lost consciousness when you were in the garden, right? Yes. I think it happened when the victim was stabbed. So then the person that carried you into the inner temple...
It could only have been the killer.
That's what I think too.
So the killer carried Maya into the temple. I mean, it makes sense.
And I would think it would be someone that would have common decency to say, don't sleep out here because it's cold as hell. By the time I got back to the garden, the place had totally changed.
Well, naturally, the killer must have done it, right?
Yes, I think so.
But then why would they tamper with the crime scene like that? There must have been something the killer desperately wanted to hide.
I don't know.
Looks like she doesn't have enough confidence. I think I need to gather some more information before I ask her again.
The torches were lit, and the body was gone.
They were lit?
Yes, that's how I noticed the whole scene had changed.
I'm gonna say it was the killer who lit the torches. Who else could it be, honestly? The killer probably lit them since it'd be impossible to do any cover-up work in the dark. However, if that's true, then there's one thing that still bothers me. Why did they go to the effort of moving the body?
That is true. It's hard to see how that would be of any advantage. The only one who would gain anything from that would be the only person that was at the inner temple, Maya. Very well. Let us hear some more about the condition of the crime scene. And all the snow around the snow lantern have been carefully cleaned up as well. So you're saying the killer cleaned up the snow? I mean, it makes sense. It really did look odd. Snow was removed in a very unnatural rectangular shape around that lantern. There were a lot of shovels around the inner temple, but they're all really heavy. Way too heavy for me to use. An odd fellow indeed, this killer. Why on earth would anyone want to take snow away? Well, there's one thing that I can think of, Your Honor. Didn't you say that a lot of the victim's blood sprayed onto it? Yeah. The area I collapsed in ended up getting splattered. Well then, in other words, the killer's purpose was to hide the bloody snow. I think that's the most reasonable explanation. Perhaps. However, there's something that bothers me. If the killer just wanted to hide the snow with blood on it, well, there was no need to remove that large of an amount. That is true. He could have just scooped up the snow that was stained with blood. Well, it looks like there are some mysteries behind this issue. But I think this'll help explain them. Since the person did all that work alone, I just assumed it was a man. So you're saying that you never saw the killer? Yes, Nick. But then earlier you clearly stated that you saw a man behind your attacker. Nick, I'm sorry. The killer certainly went through a lot of trouble, moving the body by pendulum, manipulating the crime scene. But for what? Why do all that? Maybe Maya knows more than she's letting on. I feel like by moving the body and removing traces that the crime happened over there, the person is essentially protecting Maya by making sure that she is not traced back to this crime. And if it is Godot that did all this, well then again, I suppose it's not a stretch then to say why he would do this. For Mia's sake. Remember, Godot loves Mia, now that Mia's dead. I suppose he feels not indebted to her, but responsible to making sure that Maya is okay. And since this crime occurred in front of her, and she was going to be killed, and I'm pretty sure that Godot protected her, he also wanted to protect her by removing traces that the crime happened there, so Maya would not be traced back to it. That is my running theory. And it would make sense, considering, again, Godot is in love with Mia. She was in love with Mia. And this is his way of honoring her memory by protecting Maya as best he can. Where was it? No, I didn't want that, you silly little goose. Can you tell me about this? Was it this one that had the prompt? I forget. Yes, I think so. Why? There must be some reason. Well, the truth is, Nick, about what you said earlier, when I saw the crime scene for the first time, I felt something. You did? Yes. I felt like the killer was hiding the evidence for me. For my sake. What? Hiding it for you? Everyone knew that I was the only one at the inner temple that night. If Sister Bikini had come back and saw the garden, she may have thought that you had done it. No, Mr. Wright. She definitely would have thought so. And you're saying that's why the killer cleaned up the crime scene to make it look like nothing had happened there? Yes, I'm sure of it. Well, that certainly is an important piece of information.
I want you to add that to your testimony.
Yes, Your Honor. I mean, it makes sense. I think it was for my sake that the killer cleaned up the evidence of what had happened. And I think it is for the reason I stated.
They did it for your sake.
Well, if the body and the blood hadn't been removed, I would have immediately been the prime suspect, right?
Yes, I suppose that's true.
Yeah, and if that happened, the body would have caused some other problems too. If her real identity had come out right then, it would have been terrible. Master of Karain killed by own daughter. I don't think Maya would have been able to handle that.
But still, it's rather difficult to fathom this killer's motives. What reason is there to go through that much trouble just to protect you?
I don't know. I don't know. I believe this. They went through all the trouble to remove all the evidence. That's the thing. The question then is, why would they do that? I don't know, and I am thinking so hard. I don't know. Well, if they did mean to remove everything, I feel like there's... What about the dagger? Well, it was pitch black. Maybe Godot couldn't see even by the candlelight. And they did say it was found behind the tree, so maybe he didn't think to look there. He was looking everywhere else for the dagger and didn't find it. Who would think it got stuck in the tree of all places, you know? So maybe, never mind that one. But there is... The snow with the blood is gone. But why is the bloody writing on the lantern not gone? That is actually the most damning piece of evidence. It says Maya. It spelled out Maya. Because Godot can't see red. Remember... Oh, what was it? What was it? There was something in this case. I forgot what it was. Oh yeah, the writing on the stone lantern. Godot couldn't see it, despite it being clear as day. And now I'm remembering in case 3, the ketchup on the apron. He couldn't see that either. I don't think that... I think because of Godot's eyesight being messed up, that would make sense then. He can't see red. Or at the very least, he can't see red on a white background. That's why he didn't... That would make sense then why the snow was cleared up like that. Let the snow melt. He couldn't see where the blood went. And by extension, he couldn't see what was on the stone lantern because it's a white stone lantern. No, that's not what I meant. Yeah. The more we cross-examine Maya, the more it comes out that it's like, it is Godot. There's more evidence that's pointing to him. There's more evidence pointing to him. The body of Elise Donham was carried all the way to Hazakura Temple's courtyard. Then at the garden, the real scene of the crime. The snow that we suspect was covered in blood was scooped up and removed. It's reasonable to believe all this was done in an attempt to hide a true crime scene, yes. However, there's still one matter that seems very odd. Oh, and what would that be? Trite. You must have figured it out by now, Mr. Godot. It's the message written in blood on the lantern. It was written very clearly on the white stone lantern. Maya. If the killer was so motivated to protect Maya from all suspicion, then why didn't they also wipe away the writing from the lantern?
Oh! You're right!
It's very true.
Order! But Mr. Wright, isn't it a fact that the killer was trying to cover up the crime scene?
Yes, but it doesn't make much sense to move the body and remove the bloody snow. while then conveniently ignoring the most incriminating thing of all, the bloody writing.
But if that's the case, do you have an explanation for the killer's mysterious behavior? Why would this killer move the body and remove all that snow, but then leave the bloody writing on the lantern? I don't know what the killer's plan was, but it's a fact that the killer left the writing on the lantern. There must be a reason for it. Well, Mr. Wright, let us hear your opinion. Why did the killer leave the message written in blood on the lantern?
Because they didn't notice it. See, I'm telling you, the more we dig into this, the more we find evidence that supporting the idea that Godot murdered Elise Donham. But why is Maya dead set on protecting him? That's the part I don't understand. Prosecutor Godot, earlier in the trial, you gave me some good advice. Once you've eliminated the impossible, whatever remains must be the truth.
Well, maybe you're not as dumb as I thought.
The real killer wanted to disguise the fact that a crime had occurred there. That much is true. Though if that is the case, they wouldn't have left the bloody writing on the stone lantern on purpose. Therefore, it must mean that they didn't notice it. But that doesn't make any sense, Nick. The torches were all lit and everything. There's no way any normal person could miss something as glaring as that. You're right, Maya. There's no way any normal person would.
What are you trying to say, Mr. Wright?
There's only one person involved in this incident who could have missed seeing the bloody writing altogether.
And who could that be? Who is the person who could have failed to notice this bloody writing?
For the reasons I just explained. Prosecutor Godot. Mr. Godot, this is what you said yesterday.
My eyesight is pretty messed up. Even with these huge goggles on my head, I still can't see everything clearly. You can't see everything? Is that correct, Mr. Godot?
This lantern was submitted as evidence today. I would like the court to think back to that moment when it was first presented.
But this lantern? There's something written on it. Why, it's written in blood!
Nonsense, Your Honor. This lantern is as clean as a whistle. Exactly. Mr. Godot, please just admit it. There are certain colors that you can't see, correct? You can't see red on a white background, can you? That's right. We went through this once before, during the poisoning case at Tribulations.
This is the apron the delightful Miss Bird was wearing at the time, and somehow spilled coffee on. Oh, there's something still bothering me, Mr. Godot. Why have you not explained the bloodstain to this court? Bloodstain? What bloodstain would that be? Don't play games, prosecutor! The blood-colored stain that's smeared all over the apron! But that's ridiculous. No one told me anything about a bloodstain.
You could see the coffee on the white apron, but what you couldn't see was the ketchup, because it was red. Huh. Strange. In a black and white photo, those letters would have appeared black to me. I wonder, why am I the only one that can't see them?
So, Mr. Godot, are you admitting it? Are you admitting that you can't see the red writing on the lantern?
Hey, Gramps. Didn't you know? That's the reason why I don't drink red tea. I wasn't sure about it until now, but it just can't believe it. Prosecutor Godot is the murderer. There's no going back now. I finally figured out the truth. Mr. Godot, the defense at this time would like to formally accuse you. You are the murderer of Miss Elise Donham, otherwise known as Misty Fey. It's hard to believe this may be true. However, once again Mr. Wright has brought up a disquieting fact about you. Just make sure you don't fill out the indictment in red ink, Gramps. Come on. How does a little graffiti make me into a killer? Besides, it's not like it's my name written there. Well, I'm certain that the killer wasn't able to see the color red. Well, this is rich. Do go on, Trite. The answer is right there at the crime scene. In the snow? In the snow. The snow? How so, Mr. Wright? Well, for example, why did the killer move that large amount of snow? Your Honor, you said it yourself. If he wanted to hide the bloody snow, why not simply just take out that particular area? Yes. Why didn't he do so? Oh! Could it be? Yes. The killer couldn't see the red blood that had seeped into the snow. And so, he had to remove all of it. He couldn't be sure of where the blood had landed, so he removed the whole area. Isn't it more likely, Trite, that the killer couldn't see the blood because it was dark? Not a chance. The torches were all lit. He would have been able to see just fine. It seems that once again this trial has taken an unexpected turn, to say the least. Can you explain this, Mr. Godot? Wait just a minute. I'll wait till the next episode, because minus the cuts that I took in between my boba tea and chewing, I'm probably at around 45 minutes or something, so good enough time to end the video. Yay. Just for reference's sake, it's right now 50 minutes, so... But yeah, a good place to stop. Yeah, like I said, it's like the more we cross-examine Maya, the more evidence we get that it's Prosecutor Godot. And my only guess of why Maya is so dead set on protecting him is because Maya knew that she was about to be killed at that moment, and Prosecutor Godot defended her. Essentially justifiable self-defense. It still is justifiable self-defense, which would explain why she's protecting him, excuse me. And now it's our job to prove without beyond a shadow of a doubt that he did it. But until then, I'm going to take a break and see you on the next episode, where we're going to continue this roller coaster. I mean, this is a roller coaster. Let's not mince words about it. Later, everyone.